Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the BlitzBurgh Banter. I am AA Ron, and I've got...
This is Andrew all the way over here. I got demoted somehow over here.
You did.
But we have a very special guest here, AA Ron.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Nos Energy coming all the way from State College down here to join us here in this wonderful Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
And if you didn't know who Nos Energy was, he's right here.
Yes, he's right here. Very smart gentleman. Very smart. Might have been my boss at one point. Don't know how he didn't fire me, but that's another thing. But he's a big Penn State fan, season ticket holder, some might say. And he also got to meet Franco Harris, I do believe, if that is correct. So let's give a warm welcome to Nos Energy on the show.
Nos Energy.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you, BlitzBurgh Banter, for having me on. And yes, I did get to meet Franco Harris, I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years? How was he? Did you get a chance to talk to him at all? Or
not much. He came out for a Big Ten tailgate there and
just a photo op
session, but
just keep it moving, take the picture, keep it moving.
Yeah, nice guy.
Nice guy.
Yeah. So
we love you, Franco. We love what you did.
That's right. He's in heaven, Franco. You know what? Drink for Franco.
How about a little icy light?
That's right.
I don't need a reason to drink anymore.
The Italian Army.
Right.
The Italian Army.
Yep.
That's right.
Oh.
So basically, we've got Nos Energy on today from State College.
He will be our Penn State correspondent.
Penn State guy,
yeah. Expert.
Yeah, expert. He's the expert.
I don't know about that.
Because we want to talk about the 2024 Nittany Lions, I do believe.
Yes. So we're just going to start off here with a big looming question here that everyone State College always asks. It's been a looming question here. What are your thoughts on Mr. James Franklin, the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions?
Here we go.
Nos Energy.
So I feel like most Nittany Lion fans right now are just tired of the same damn thing over and over again. So we have become accustomed to a nice 10-2 record, maybe 9-3 on a down year. We beat the teams we're supposed to. And then, Ohio State comes to town and we forget who we are, how to play football, and we tuck our tails between our legs and go running out the stadium. So a lot of people want Franklin for this, and I'm not in disagreement, but he might actually be the answer. And here's my reasoning behind it. He's not our head coach. His X's and O's, never been a fan. He doesn't understand the game. Case in point, let's go for it on 4th and 5 and do a halfback draw against one of the best rush defenses in the country.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. How did that work out? So really, I think what we need to do as Penn State is revolutionize college football alongside this NIL. So right now, absurd amounts of money are being thrown around college football and college sports in general. But what if we come alongside that and say, well, rather than trying to struggle and figure out how to run this, because everyone in our program has already admitted we're not that good at NIL right now.
Yeah.
Put James Franklin in charge of it. Make him GM of football personnel. Put him in charge of hiring, firing your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, because he's done a good job of firing them. And then also have him there for recruiting, because that's what he's good at.
Yeah, I will give you that one. The recruits that we've had coming through the program the past 5-6 years have been a lot of NFL talent has been coming through our system.
Yeah, his average rank right now of a recruiting class between the years of 2017 and 2022 was 12.5, meaning we're top 15 in the country pretty much every year with our recruiting class. And we've had 2 top 10 recruiting classes since he started here a decade ago, which in State College, we didn't see that under Joe Paterno.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in his last, decade of coaching. So, the fact that he's bringing the talent there, he's doing half the battle. Now we just need to get 2 coordinators who can come together and run a football team from the X's and O's perspective. And I think you might see some success with that.
I honestly like that take on, because college football, just for a quick refresher, going to the 12-team playoff, the NIL deals, I mean, the amount of money that, essentially freshmen are getting, signed to just to, come play for these teams, but there's really no strings attached. I mean, they can go be there for 1 year and then leave. And we don't 100% know what exactly all the contracts state, but it's not like an NFL contract where it's like, no, you at least have to be here for like 2 to 3 years to get the guaranteed portion of it.
Yeah.
And then after that, whatever happens is whatever happens. I like that because I don't think a lot of teams are actually thinking about that. And really, that could be a way to actually get ahead of most of the country here is to actually like, no, we have one person who's literally just watching the transfer portal, recruiting, because let's be honest. I think I'd rather have Keegan Michael Key, being the X and O's designer here.
Oh.
He's a Penn State alum. He even showed up for the blue and white game a couple years ago. He has the run. He runs like James Franklin. He has to look as James Franklin. Honestly, with his creativity.
Any particular play that you're going to run that we should look out for? We're probably going to run the double 6 wombat, 42 jet left, pie, slide ruler, lightning 6, double smoke, ukulele. Okay, ukulele, correct?
He'd probably be better in the fourth quarter, determining on what to do in certain scenarios than what James Franklin has been. And honestly, his whole little play design, whenever he was doing the little Oliver rant back in the Mad TV days, I'd love to see that thing work out on the field. If I'm just being honest, there will be a little clip of that, by the way, just in case you're not getting that reference.
Looking like the choreography. Not one of you cork holes is staying inside your zone, all right? This is a Sunday morning in London, gentlemen, not the bumper car rides at the Six Flags. Now listen, okay? What I need you guys to do is Sweet Red Roses is going to move over here in the flat, okay? You're going to run this right here down the alley. I need a couple of brothel girls to move up here like this. I need a barmaid to seal off this section right here. Okay, when you get over to Sweet Red Roses, then Ripe Strawberry Ripe's going to cut over here and do a slant to the corner. You're going to move it back over here to the point, rock this over here. You got pie like that. Then you're going to move this to this situation. I need 6 guys. I need 2 horse carriages here and 2 horse carriages here to blitz. You got to blitz them, okay? You got to blitz the town tavern, and in here, we're moving that over here. That's who we'll buy for the Sweet Red Roses. You come in, I need jibbity, and hook, okay? Jibbity, and a button hook here. You're going to come back down, and that's when the barmaids move across. They tackle the Artful Dodger. We got a knife here, and Sister Jet in the Hail Mary. Is so hard about that.
Right.
But yeah, so and really, I didn't like the James Franklin extension. I didn't like the 10-year deal because the thing I always go back to Franklin is, yes, we beat Ohio State with Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, and that. But I went back and actually watched that game before shooting this episode, and we didn't really win because of schematics. We won literally because. I think in that second half, I think the players actually said, like, no, like, we're going to actually pull this off. And then we won. And then the second piece of that was Urban Meyer made a big mistake running his kicker late out on the field in the play clock. And then it took literally a blocked field goal kick for a touchdown to win that game. There was no really X's and O's or schematics-wise. Our defense played well, but our defense always plays well. And that's really what we can say. Like, we are like the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
But other than that, he hasn't really done much to really, keep his job. So that's
all you got to do is watch the hype video at the beginning of the game. They play highlights and they play all these big hits and everything that way. The biggest thing under the James Franklin tenure is the blocked field goal. And that's the thing the crowd reacts to is that, which was 8 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
8 freaking years.
It's time to move on.
The only thing that gets a bigger reaction. The snapshot of Joe Paterno's rolled up khakis.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That or Sweet Caroline.
Well, I'm talking about the hype video.
Oh, the hype video. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Sweet Caroline gets a pretty good reaction.
It does.
And also the Lion King, the someone also does pretty well too.
That's right.
From whenever I was there last year.
Yeah.
But going forward into this, NOS Energy, what's your reaction to the first 2 games here so far this season?
Yeah.
Where do you think we are at?
Same thing again. There's some good takeaways and some bad takeaways from these games. So West Virginia, kudos to us. We showed up. We had a rough start with that missed cadence, and I was at the game. So there was a lot of murmurs. I didn't see it, but I've been told from other fans that West Virginia's defensive line was getting a little creative with what their hands were doing, potentially clapping during that, which caused the fumble. But we showed up, stopped them, got the turnover that next drive of theirs, and then we kind of put the foot down from there on out. And we just had control of that game. And that's kind of what I was expecting at Bowling Green. And then, yeah, we didn't see that. We actually had the opposite. So my biggest takeaways is who thought Tom Allen was a good hire?
I didn't like the hire of Tom Allen necessarily. I don't know who else was in the pool to be hired, so I can't speak. Aaron, do you have any thoughts? No.
No,
Okay,
I have no idea. I was heartbroken when we lost Manny.
Yeah.
So I had literally
Manny deserved the
depression.
head
I'm
coaching
going to say
job.
congrats
yeah,
to
yeah.
Manny on the Duke position. I mean, he deserved that.
Oh, yeah,
but-
yeah. But I was literally depressed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But and to your point, I don't know the coaching pool at the time and who was available. But my first instinct with Tom Allen is we're getting the guy from Indiana.
Right.
Like
The basketball program, yeah.
Well, he had a mediocre defense at a mediocre program. No offense to Indiana, but they have always been in the middle of the Big Ten, except for the fluke year in 2020, thanks COVID. But the reality is, when Penn State went up against him, and I think all of us as Penn State fans, one of our biggest question marks every year has been our offense. We have posted 35 points every single year against Tom Allen when he was there, except for 1 year. And that score was 24-0.
Yeah, so we totally dominated that.
Yeah,
You're right.
so
Yeah.
why we thought that was going to work whenever we've proven ourselves against these smaller programs, our question mark is Ohio State. So we go out and hire a guy who hasn't been successful against Penn State, hasn't been successful against Ohio State, hasn't been successful against Michigan, and has a proven track record against them.
Yeah.
How are we taking a step forward? And that was my biggest question then.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen 2 games, my reaction is, where has been the pressure? Last year, we posted 49 sacks overall for the season. That's averaging 4 a game.
Yeah.
This year, now granted, 2 games, so this is an overreaction because we haven't seen the entire field of work.
Yeah.
We're averaging 2 sacks per game.
Right, which isn't good. Like that's and we thrive off of pressure. Still.
And to continue that point, I mean, you look at the fourth quarter in that game against Bowling Green. We got 2 turnovers, 2 picks, because we finally got pressure to the quarterback.
Right.
Where was that in the first half?
Well, and speaking of Bowling Green, I mean, I thought we didn't take away their run enough really in the first half too. I figured that they were at least able to kind of run the ball, at least to be able to run their quick passing game where our corners and at least our safeties weren't able to actually, be on the front foot. Like they had to actually take into account. I mean, they weren't overly successful, but I mean, they were getting, 4 or 5 yards a pop with it, which makes you have to actually respect it. Because really the first, like what I thought going into halftime was that how they were going to change things was we had to stop the run. Yeah. I was like it's because it's too effective right now. Like they haven't hit a home run yet, but it's at least opening up the offensive playbook where, okay, they're not all pass.
Well, yeah. But the bottom line is even our pass defense didn't show up. Like they were kind of moving the ball against us at will in the first half.
Yeah.
And luckily, and I mean, this is my other big takeaway is, man, we finally have an offensive coordinator. Andy Kotelnicki, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. But, he finally has a scheme. Chunk plays are back in our offense again. Mm-hmm. And that's what saved us in that game is if you think back to last year, most of the games we were struggling until we got to the second half and finally our talent could outperform.
Right.
Could outperform effort. And this year, Drew Aller actually has a chance to hit an open receiver, which is refreshing.
Yeah. So like schematically, we're actually opening up. The field. Yeah.
Case in point was West Virginia. We had a number of completions, and the closest guy from West Virginia was 5-6 yards away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, okay, now we can get yards after the catch.
Right.
That's something that didn't exist for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were hitting a guy and he was getting hit as soon as he caught it.
Yeah.
And kudos to those guys because they still have successful seasons. But this is where I finally see our offense seem like it's clicking, and you can actually see some of the potential of Drew Aller. Mix in Bo Prabula, and my gosh, you've got a team that could actually compete offensively.
Do you like the 2 quarterback system, NOS Energy? Do you like how that's?
That's a loaded question. I do. I like it in the sense that we've already shown a couple wrinkles, and the biggest wrinkles that could be out there are still yet to come. And I mean, I think everyone can kind of foresee that there's going to be a double pass coming out of that at some point, but we haven't had to show that card. We haven't shown what that looks like, the routes that are going to come off of it. But I mean, Bo can tuck it and run, and he's been really successful with that. He can hand it off to two of the best running backs in the Big Ten. You have Katron Allen back there, and you have Nick Singleton, who carved up both defenses they faced so far. I mean, we've gone over 200 yards rushing each of the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not saying that either one of those teams is the best defense we're going to face, but you still got to put the yards in play to score the points. So,
right, yeah.
I mean, they're doing their job right, and you mix in that wrinkle where now all of a sudden Bo can see the field in multiple situations, and if you forecast ahead to, we all are thinking at Ohio State, we have moved more effectively when we have a mobile quarterback. So now you put that on film. I think the other piece that comes out of it is, all right, you sneak Drew Aller off the field and you see Bo come in. I mean, there's a chance you pull one over on that defense where they're expecting 2 quarterbacks, and all of a sudden, nope, you have 5 wide receivers out there with Bo in the backfield, and you could wreak some havoc.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I like it. I think we ran it a little too much against West Virginia, but I do like that it's in our scheme, and I like that we put it out there because, if nothing else, it makes every other team start to prepare for it because who knows what's coming off of it.
That's what I was just going to say. Having a 2 quarterback system, you have to account for it because you have no idea what you're going to. And Bo can throw the ball. Obviously, he's got wheels, but he can throw the ball. So he's definitely a dual threat. So I agree. If you have 2 quarterbacks that can definitely run the offense, you have to account for it. You have to.